Right. Well, good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started here. Well, welcome to the April monthly training. This month is all about collections, including the creation process, printing of barcodes, and checking in and tracking of collections during an event. At any time during the training, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions, or you can use the chat function. And again, as always, our calls are being recorded and the videos will be posted within our Salamander YouTube channel. So first, let's define what a collection is. A collection is simply a group of resources, either people, equipment, or a combination of both, that will be tracked and accounted for as one unit or team. Examples of this could include a collection of a search and rescue team, a hazmat response team, a cleanup crew, etc. Okay. Collections are supported in all of our solutions except for Rapid Tag EVAC, which is a civilian patient evacuee solution. Out of the 5 listed, the TrackApp is the only one that cannot create and print or generate a collection barcode. The TrackApp is solely used to check in a collection and track the collection's movement between assignments throughout the event. Now, due to time, today's focus will be on how to create the collections within Salamander Live, print the collection barcodes, and manage collections using the TrackApp. If we have time at the end and you would like to see the collection creation process in Rapid Tag, I'll do a quick walkthrough of that. So again, it just depends on the time that we have left as well as all the questions that come through at the end. All right, so I'm going to pull up Salamander Live here. Let's look at the collection creation. So if you look in your left menu, you should see a collections menu. Okay, all you simply do is go in there. So one thing about creating collections is that you have to have your people database built out and your collections database built out if you're looking at adding resources to your collections. Okay. Now, in this case, if you have teams or collections that you don't know who those resources are, you can create empty collections. And with that, I'll show you this one I've created called High Angle Rescue Team. Okay. So just like any of our other databases in creating a new record, you simply click the plus button and you fill out the information. So you have the option of marking whether or not that collection is active and deployable. So that's completely optional to you on what that means on what a collection is active and whether that collection is deployable. Okay. What this really does is just allows you to filter out your collections list later and look at all your active collections and all your deployable collections. Okay. Simply fill out the information for your collection, naming your collection, uh, and then creating a unique ID for that collection, and then that organization which that collection is from. And then also type in or select the NIMS type as well too, which is required for you to save that record. Those are your types. And then you have your designation that you can select from. Again, this information is optional. And then you have a kind as well too, which is optional. Once you fill in that information, simply click save and it takes you into your collection record. So here's my High Angle Rescue Team that I've created. This one here, you'll see I've designated it as a team. It's not active, it's not deployable, no NIMS type. And then you'll see the information in here. You'll see a cost per sum, hour sum, and a cost per day sum at the top there. This information is based off of the resources that you add to your collection. So in this case, if I don't know who my rescue team is going to consist of when it comes to the people that's going to be making this team, I don't actually have to add resources in this. I can add resources when this collection is activated through the TrackApp or through Rapid Tag. Okay. Again, activation just simply means they are being checked in either through a scan of that barcode or through a download. Okay. And then I can add resources to that as the event is occurring. So you have your different options in this case. Okay. So here's one that does not have any. I'll show you one that does have resources. So I'll go to my boat 01. So in this case, I've got a boat team And this boat team has resources. So you have my 4 people in here as resources in this case. And then all you simply do to add resources is simply click the add button. You click the add button. This is going to pull down your details window. This is going to pull from your people database. So this is what I was talking about earlier, is that you have to have your people database built out if you're looking at adding those resources into your collection. So you can go through your list, you can just simply click and scroll through the list and add your people, or you can do the search function at the top there. You can search by first name or last name. Okay. So I'm just going to click on a person, just simply click on that, and then you can click add. Okay. In this case, once you add the people in, you can also add equipment if you want to. Same thing, you just go in here and you can search by the item name, or you can scroll through your list and add in the piece of equipment. Once you have your resources in here, you can go through your list. You can mark the individual as the leader if you need to. Just simply click the checkbox next to their name. It's going to fill in the circle next to their name that designates that person as the leader. If you wanted to remove someone, so in this case, if I wanted to remove Kelly Anders, I can do that. I can go over here and just click remove. You're going to get the little confirmation to remove that person. Click on that, and it's going to remove that person from your collection. You'll see that your cost per sum is going up. Again, this is taking in the individual rate that's been captured in the person's record. Now, if the person does not have an individual rate in their record, it's going to use the account rate. The account rate is set up by the administrator of your account. They have a settings option that they can go in and click. I'll just show you this real quick, that they can go in here and set up default rates. So this could be like an average if you wanted to for people, average for equipment. It's going to take that instead and use that as calculations for your people and as well as for your equipment. Okay, you can put whatever dollar amount you want in there, and that's for the entire account. Okay, for the entire account. So you'll see the difference between the two. I'll just pull on one. Let's see if one actually has it. We'll go through my list here. It'll say in there if it was a individual rate, you won't see anything next to that. If it is not individual rate, you'll see that it says hourly, and then you'll see a parentheses A behind the hourly, and that lets you know it's using the account rate. And most of these people have a rate. I'm just kind of going through. They all have rates, but you'd see that hourly A at the back at the end of the unit. Okay. Any questions so far about creating your collections? Okay. Now, when it comes to printing, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation in this case. When we're looking at printing in this case, there are 4 standard designs that's available for collections. You've got a 2x3 one-sided collection card. This is a really basic black and white card. It's one-sided. And then you've got ones that are a little bit more fancy, which is our 2-sided portrait. So they come in 3 different colors. We got blue, navy, and red. And these are 2-sided, meaning that the QR code is printed on the back of the ID. And then last but not least, you got the company sheet. So if you're familiar with our sheeted designs, it prints off a bunch of barcodes on on copier paper. Okay, so in this case, for collections, it prints 6 barcodes per sheet. If you're printing people and equipment, they print 10 per sheet. In this case, you can put those into a 3-ring binder and include that with your resource book. Okay, so here's some samples of what those would look like. So here's a 2x3 one-sided collection card. You'll see that it has the name of the organization, the name of the collection, who the leader is, if it's been marked as such in the collection, the issue and expiration date, just like a personnel or equipment record, and then you've got your QR code. So this QR code contains all the members and the information for that collection. For the 2-sided portrait, these are your different colors. So you got light blue, you got your navy blue, and you've got your red. Has a similar information, except this one is a little bit more fancy. Like I said, it's got the organization logo. It's got the ID number for the collection. Also has the type on there as well. So if there was a NIMS type on there, you'd see that printed off on here. And then you'll see down here has the, in the little box, colored box, you'll have the leader and then the name of the collection. And then the back is just simply the QR code. So that's what's printed on the back of the ID. And then you've got the 8.5 by 11 company sheet. So this is all saying that there's 6 barcodes per sheet. Again, you can place this into a 3-ring binder, 3-punch hole it, place it in there. So how do you print these? It's simply the same process as printing people IDs versus equipment and inventory labels, okay? So you can do batch printing depending on what you're looking at printing. So again, you can select the ones that you're looking at printing. You can go through and select, this is just batch printing. In this case, I'm printing 20 of them. And then you're going to click the print button at the top. And I went through the printing requirements in January. It talked about the entire process for how to print from Salamander Live. So if you missed that, please go back and review that. But you do need the print control software as well as a license key to be able to print from your computer. So in here, you'll select your printer. I normally just print to PDF. Okay. And then select your designs. So here's all the designs I talked about. Now on my screen, you'll see I've got additional designs only because I have other software that's installed on here. So I've got RapidTag and Command installed on my same computer. That's why those designs are pulling through as well, since those designs are all saved in that same folder. Okay, so these are your designs up here. And you can select from that and just simply click print. It's that simple. Again, you've got your options for issue and expiration date, which is optional. You do not need to select issue and expiration dates if you don't want those ID cards to expire. Okay, so completely up to you and how you want to do that, and simply click print. And that's the printing process. Questions on this? No questions? All right. So let's look at the check-in process then for a collection. So I'm going to take a look at 2 different processes for checking in collections. We're going to go through the Track app. So for those that have the plan feature, I want to walk through that process as well too. So we're going to be activating a planned event. Okay. So in this case, we'll look at activating an unplanned collection as well as activating a planned collection, and the difference between the two when you're looking at planned versus unplanned. Okay, so I've got a planned event in here I'm going to activate. Again, I'm just going to select one of mine in here. So this is one I'm going to activate. So let's have you take a look at this plan so far and what I have in here. So I've got some resources in here. I've got a couple collections in here. Okay, I've got some start dates. Okay, I know these are late in this case. So this is what I'm going to activate. I'm going to start now, click the checkbox, start now, click OK. Okay, name the event, and here it is. So my event is activated. All right, so let me get my mirroring app up and running in this case. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to shift screens here. All right. Give me a second while I shift gears here. So I'm going to share from my other screen. All right, so everybody should see my screen here now.
Your screen's not visible right now. Yeah.
Still not visible? Okay, give me a second here to figure out why it's not visible. Here. There it is. Everybody should see my screen with my phone. So this is through the Track app. You'll see there's my planned event. There it is, my planned event, my MCM closed pod. So all you're going to do on your Track app, tap join to join your event. Okay. And you'll see all the assignments pull through. Okay, so these are all the assignments from my plan that is pulling through, including all the resources. Okay, so including all the resources in this case. So when it comes to a collection, so again, we're looking at just collections. When you're activating a collection, especially when it comes to a planned event, there's different processes. Okay, so we're going to take a look at checking in a unplanned collection. We'll take a look at that process first. Okay, so I'm just going to back out of this. So let's say we have a collection, a team that is checking in, and they are not planned. There's two ways you can do this, right? There's a download function as well as a scan function. So downloading, tap the plus button. So you tap the plus button, and then you'll see your menu populate. I'm using iOS, that's why my menu populates at the bottom. If you're using Android, your menu populates at the top underneath the plus icon. I'm going to do is select collections, and from there, it's going to pull up my collections database from Salamander Live. Okay, so from here, I can select my team. I can choose to scroll through and find my collection, or I can search my collection by searching for the collection name. So in the case, I'm just going to add in Engine 1. All you're going to do is simply tap on that collection name. You can only add one collection at a time, okay, when you're doing the download. Even if you try to select both, it's not going to work. The moment you select it, you're going to see the select assignment screen. So this is how you know that you've got an unplanned collection, is that you immediately get this select assignment screen. So where are you looking at placing this collection? So you have your options, right? If you've worked with the Track app before, you know that you've got the option to filter out your list and select an existing assignment, or you can create a brand new one by typing in that assignment name and then tapping the green check mark. So in this case, I'm going to create a new one. I'm just going to create one called staging. You'll see that as I type that in, there's no matches. So in this case, I'm going to tap the check mark. To tap the check mark, you're going to see a confirm the collection. So what it's doing is letting you know here are all the members with that collection. Okay. And this again is pulling from Salamander Live. So if you have not updated that collection and you've got different members in there, you're going to have to double check. So this is you confirming that these 5 individuals, Marcy, Joseph, David, Mary, and Mark, are a part of Engine 1 and they are looking at checking in, because you'll see that if you accept this, it's going to date and timestamp everybody. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck Marcy. I'm going to uncheck Joseph. I'm going to leave everybody else in there, and you've got your engines on the bottom. I'm going to uncheck MFD engine, or actually AFD engine 1. Okay. So me unchecking that means that these 2 individuals are not being checked in with engine 1. Okay. Now, in a download, you're not going to see identity verification. You're not going to see that populate here. That will only appear in a scan. Okay. So in this case, this process, if I was to scan the barcode, it'd be the exact same thing. I would get a confirm with all the individuals, except you would see the identity verification populate. And if anybody has a warning, there is a right caret that you can select to look at the reasons for the warning. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to accept. It's going to immediately add that collection to my selected assignment. So in this case, I add it to staging. If I go down to staging, I'll see that populate through, okay, once this refreshes. So I'll see that in there. There it is, staging. You'll see that I've got my one collection that's been checked in, and it parses out the individual resources into their resource counts. So in that collection, there was 1 equipment and 3 people, and that's why you're seeing the numbers populate through there. Okay. So if I go to my staging assignment, there's my engine 1. If I tap on the name of my collection, I can view who those individuals are, and they will see that Mary Brown, Mark Clark, David Clifford, and the piece of equipment, MFD Engine 1. Okay. Now, working with these collections, these individual resources can be moved in and out as you see fit. So you'll see in here that there's a details button. If you tap on that, that tells you where that collection is currently in, which assignment, and the date and time in which that collection checked in. So in this case, staging 10:22 a.m. Since I'm in Central Time, it's been there for a minute. And these are the members. Now the members, if you tap their name, it takes you into their profile. So you can view their individual profiles, and you'll see that identity verification has populated in this case. So so you'll see the green check mark. That means that this person is valid. So they've passed all 3 checks. Okay, for a download, it's 3 checks. For a scan, it's 5 checks. So you'll go in here, you can look at their qualifications, and you'll see their assignment history. In this case, the assignment history is going to say which assignment. In this case, a collection is treated like an assignment. So that's why it's saying the assignment history is Engine 1. Engine 1 was checked in at 10:22 a.m. Okay. If you want to know where Engine 1 is, you'd have to go into Engine 1 to see where that collection is currently in. Okay. Questions on that process there? Questions? All right, no questions? All right. So I'm going to tap back. This time I am going to scan in a planned or a unplanned collection, so you can see that process as well. Let me just pull up the barcode in this case. Just give me 1 second to pull up a barcode. All right. Here is my barcode. Okay. So you get the exact same thing. So this is a unplanned collection I'm scanning in. So I get to select assignment. So where am I looking at placing this? I'm going to select the same assignment, staging. So again, I'm just going down to my list, tapping staging. And you're going to see the members populate through once it pulls through. This is for my K9 team. So you'll see in here, you'll see the identity verification results. So both are valid. That means they pass all 5 tests. In this case, if there wasn't and there was a warning, you'll see the low caret in this case. And now I can accept. If I don't accept, I can tap X. Again, you're verifying your people. I'm going to tap accept. Camera stays active, and you'll see that the K9 team has been added to staging, the selected assignment. Your camera stays active, just like on any scan. So staging is the active assignment. Any resources or collections I scan in right now is going to be moved to the staging assignment if they are unplanned. If they're planned, they would be moved into their plan assignment immediately. Okay. So that, again, scanning and downloading of unplanned collections. So now let's take a look at a planned collection. Okay, let's look at a planned collection. So let's look at my boat 1. Okay, so this time I scan in my boat team 1, which is a planned collection. Okay. So this is a planned collection. So you see that there's a late check-in for this. okay? A late check-in. So this one is based off my plan. This was supposed to, again, today's 4/9. This was, I activated this. I didn't change the date. So it's saying that they were supposed to check in for 4 and 1:15 p.m. So obviously they're very late. So this is your option. So you're checking in the entire collection, this boat team 1. Okay. So what is the planned start time? If you select this planned start time, that means you're starting them at 1:15 p.m. Okay. If you adjust start time, you have the option for selecting the current time right now. So in the case, I'm going to adjust the start time to the current time that I did the scan, which is 10:27 a.m. Now you have this option as well, if you've worked with this before with plans, is that you can tap that time and then you can select a different time if you wanted to. Okay, so you have that option. So if I do it at the scan time, they're going to all get checked in at 10:27 a.m. I tap check in. It's going to, again, verify the members. And you'll see here, here's my people. And you can see that these individuals, some of them have warnings. So in this case, you're looking at boat team 1. Okay, I've got my 4 individuals. Is this everybody? Are they all here? And do all these people, do they have validated IDs? So in this case, let's look at Tommy Bahami. All you do is you tap on the arrow and it's going to take you into his record and it tells you his status is retired. So he's actually retired, but he's there helping, supporting the event. All I'm going to do is allow. Okay. Terry Early, same thing. Identity was not found. So this means that he does not have a record within Salamander Live. I can block him if I need to. In this case, I actually changed his record. That's why his identity is not found. So if you block that person, just means that that person is not getting checked into the event. And then Gene Hogg, same thing. I'm going to allow that person. So in this case, I can accept. It's going to check in that collection. Boat 01 added to client checkout as planned. So you see that as planned. See the difference between the two. So that's the entirety of the collection. They've been checked in. Okay. So the entirety of the collection has been checked in. You see this client checkout. There it is. Boat 01. You can do the exact same thing for a download as well. Okay. So I'm going to tap the plus button to the collection. And then from here, I can do my collection. So I'm going to do my Moosewood Search and Rescue. Okay, so I scroll down, find my collection, tap on it. You're going to see the individuals. Again, no identity verification. Accept. And then you'll see that it's been added to staff check-in. Now in this case, it doesn't say as planned, but you notice it automatically moved them into their planned assignment staff checked-in. Okay, so it's a little bit different in this case. All right, so that is planned collections, checking in the entirety of the collection. So what happens, again, things will sometimes will not go as planned. What happens if you have individual members that are part of a planned collection that show up that need to get checked in? So there's a process that is followed when it comes to that. So I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint presentation again. Just give me 1 second in here. Just switch over. All right. So what happens when you're checking in a member of an unactivated plan collection? So let's say this is an unactivated plan collection. That means the entire collection has not been checked in yet. So members of an unactivated plan collection can be checked in individually by scanning the barcode or by downloading the record. However, some things to note. In this workflow, any planned start times are going to be ignored completely in the check-in process. So you saw earlier when we checked in the collection, it did pop up that late prompt. If you're checking in an individual member and that member is part of a plan collection, you're not going to see that. It's going to ignore that process. Not only that, once the plan collection is activated with the individual, all inactivated members will need to be activated individually. Okay, so here's the process. Okay, so when you scan in or download a planned member, so an individual member, you're going to receive this prompt. Okay, you see this prompt? This prompt is going to ask you if you want to activate the collection with the person. So it tells you right there, it tells you exactly that, hey, scanned person, Cameron Beard, is currently part of a planned collection called Drone Team 1. If you tap yes to activate the resource with the collection, okay, so that means the collection is going to be activated. So you'll see in here, I tapped yes, the collection is to be activated. And the individual is going to be activated, but all the members stay unactivated. Okay, and that's this screen right here, selecting yes, okay. It's going to so everybody else stays inactivated, but this collection is now activated with this individual team member. Now going forward, you see that they are all grayed out. The other members, they stay unactivated. If they need to get activated, again, the collection's already activated, so you can't scan the collection barcode, which is going to activate the 3 members. That's not how it works. Now you're going to need to scan in those individuals separately. So Corbin Brady, Johnny Gage, Brian Howell, they'll need to be activated individually by scanning their barcode or downloading them. They'll be thrown into their planned collection. If you select the no option, it's going to treat that member as an unplanned resource. So in this screen, if you select no instead, what happens is that that person is now going to be moved out of that planned collection. Okay, and so that's why you're going to get the select assignment screen. So where do you want to put that person if they're not part of that planned collection? So in this case, you can choose to add them to another assignment. After selecting the assignment, the person is going to be removed from the collection, added to the selected assignment. So you can see here that person was actually part of Drone Team 1. Instead, it got moved out, or I don't remember what team it was, probably Drone Team 1, and it got removed out of that collection, and it's now treated as an individual resource. You can see that right here. Okay, so that is a planned collection that's not been activated. So we'll take a look at that option here. So I'm going to stop sharing here, switch over back to my track app. Okay. So my track app, I'm back sharing here. I'm going to pull up my barcode for my collection or for my individual. Let me go to person that's part of a collection. Again, you have the option for downloading or scanning. So in this case, I'm going to scan. So Manny, see this? You get the little message. It says activate collection with person. It says Manny DeLone is currently part of Planned Collection Volunteer Group 1. Tap yes to activate the resource with the collection or tap no. So in this case, I'm going to tap yes because I want Volunteer Group 1 to get activated as well as Manny. If I tap yes, it's going to do the identity verification since I have that turned on. He's valid. So you see he's checked in, added to Volunteer Group 1 as planned. See that? So in this case, I can go back over here. I can look at Volunteer Group 1. And I can see which collection he was placed in. So in this case, if you go in here, there he is, staff check-in. You'll see Volunteer Group 1 has been activated. If I tap on that, you'll see that Manny DeLone De Leon, I should say, has been activated and the collection's been activated, but there's 2 individuals in here that's not been activated yet. So you got Virginia DeFord and Taylor Vaughn. So we're going to actually download Virginia DeFord. So I'm just going to go back to the main screen here. Tap plus, tap personnel. We're going to type in Virginia. There she is. Tap her picture. Tap the check mark. You seen this? You get the little message, continue with person as planned. So it tells you right here that she's part of volunteer group 1. Tap yes, which is going to check her into that plan collection, volunteer group 1. If you tap no, it's going to ignore the plan. So that means she's going to be checked in as an individual resource. So in this case, I can just tap yes. And now she's been added in. So if I go into my staff check-in, you'll see that she's been checked in. You see that? So that is checking someone in a activated plan already. So that's just moving forward. Now you have your option. Okay, this time I'm going to do Taylor Vaughn. You can see this, and I'm going to move her out of that collection. So Taylor, there she is. Tap the check mark. This time I'm going to type no. I'm select no. So I'm not going to put her in volunteer group 1. We need her somewhere else. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to tap no. And you should see the select assignment screen populate. So in this case is, okay, she's not part of volunteer group 1, which is in staff check-in. Where do you want to put her? So in this case, we need her at client registration. So in this case, I'm going to select client registration, and that's where she's going to be checked in. Okay. So if I go to the staff check-in, I look at volunteer group 1, she is no longer listed in there. You see that? And she's been activated in client registration. So if I scroll up to client registration, there she is, Taylor Vaughn. If I look at her history, tapping her name, you'll see it, client registration. It's as if she was never part of that plan, okay? Because we chose to ignore that plan. Any questions on this? There's a question. Can or should that individual be moved back into the collection when available for the assignment, or just be assigned to the assignment as a person? You can always move a person back into the collection if need be. Again, it has to be done manually. So in this case, if Taylor Vaughn was added to client registration by mistake and she's supposed to go back to that collection, you can always move her. But you can only do that through a manual move. You can't scan and move her into that collection. Okay, so you can download her record back into that collection, or you can manually move her. So in this case, I can tap her name, or I'm not sorry, not her name, her picture, and you'll see the move icon appear at the top. Tap the move icon, scroll all the way down the bottom, and you'll see your collections. Because remember, those collections are treated as like an assignment. So in this case, I can move her back to volunteer group 1. You'll see there's parentheses next to it. That tells you that there's 2 people or 2 resources within that. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to select volunteer group 1, put her back where she originally was planned. How do you know that she was originally planned there? You'd have to look within Salamander Live at the plans. That's the only way to look and see that information. So if I go back to staff check-in, she should be in there. There she is.
Now, Leah, is there any benefit to putting her back into that group, or just giving her back, just making her the assigned to that assignment or associated to the assignment? Is there any benefit to the group?
It all depends if she's needed there. I mean, if you're looking at a event perspective, I mean, is she needed to be a part of that group? If not, and she's needed somewhere else because she's got a different skill set or qualification that's required somewhere else, it's up to the accountability officers and managers to kind of figure out where where their needs are needed.
Oh, no, I'm saying the same assignment, right? But in the assignment, you can assign it to her as an individual, or you can assign her part of that group. And in the event, they are working for the same assignment, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So is there any benefit to putting her in the group, or just putting her as part of as assigned to the assignment as an individual?
No, it just really depends on how they want to track it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, just depends on how they track it. If they want to track it as part of that collection, they can. If they want to track it as being part of that collection, they want to track everybody as individual, then they can do it that way. There's no right or wrong way to doing this. It's how they want them to appear in the reports. And later, if they want to move the entire collection, so you see how she's part of this volunteer group? In this case, if I wanted to move the entire collection, I can tap on the collection name and I can move the entire collection, which will move all its members into a new assignment. So that I would say is that the only benefit for doing it that way is now you can move them over, saying that the whole collection, the volunteer group 1, is being moved over to supply runner.
I see that being a benefit. Thank you for clarifying.
Any other questions on this? Any collection or any questions? Any questions on checking it in of collections? Any questions? No questions? All right. So that is through the track app. I do want to walk through Salamander Live, the check-in process through Salamander Live as well. So I'm going to pull up Salamander Live up here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move over to my other screen. So if you are an admin user or you have incident management access to events, over here on this side. In this case, if you have subscribed to Events Pro or plans, you will have the option to do this. Okay. So you see here's my event, MCM Close Pod, the one that we started today. If I click on that to go to my events dashboard, you'll see that I've got a bunch of different tiles that are activated with data. Okay. So again, this is included with plans, so Events Pro, or you can subscribe to it separately without plans. So what I'm looking at is going to be the chart. Okay. Because this is a plan, you'll see that my chart structure is pull through. Okay. And all my assignments, and so far all my resources that's been checked in through the track app. You see all the different counts in this case. Because this is a plan, you'll see it says actual versus plan. You can click over here, you can see all the planned resources that have not been activated yet. Okay. So these are all clickable in this case, so client registration. If you click on that, you'll see a little pop-up that tells you how many resources that have not checked in yet. So in this case, you got Drone Team 2 and the High and Glow Rescue Team that's not been checked in yet. So in this case, I can click Edit. So right click, click Edit. Again, you can do it through the actual or plan. It doesn't matter in this case. Again, you have to have Events Pro to do this. So you see that in Salamander Live, again, this is another process outside of the track app that you can activate these collections. So in this case, it tells you right here, you've got 3 individual responders and you've got 2 collections right here. You got High and Glow Rescue Team and you got Drone Team 2, okay, that need to be activated. So you have your option. So in this case, it's all or nothing through Salamander Live. You cannot activate just Kelsey Bradley in this case. Okay, so if you want to activate just Kelsey Bradley and Drone Team 2, you would have to go through the track app to download or to do that process. You can't do it through Salamander Live. Salamander Live is the entire collection. That's all you can activate. So what if I click on this button, I click the plus button, it's going to activate the entire collection, Drone Team 2 and all those members. So you have to verify, make sure that Kelsey, Gail, and that drone, Mavic DT drone, are actually checking in because you'll have a date and timestamp for that. Okay. So there it is. It just takes a couple seconds in there for it to activate. There it is. It's been activated. So that's the difference between activating through the Track app versus through Salamander Live. Track app, you just got a little more options, more flexibility versus Salamander Live. You don't have a lot of flexibility in this case, just all or nothing. And once that collection has been activated, you're able to move them. So again, you can't move the individual people out of that collection. That's got to be done through the Track app, but you can move the entire team if you wanted to. You activated them in client registration. In this case, if you wanted to move them, you can move them. Click the checkbox. You can move that entire collection to a new assignment. Okay, so in this case, if you move them over to Supply Runner, okay, you can't create a new assignment either from here. Okay, you can't create a new one. You got to get out of this screen and you can create assignment from the chart side, but not through here. So if I move them over, I'm going to move them over to Supply Runner, click Move. It's going to move them over to Supply Runner. Okay, so now they're moved out. I go back to my chart. And you'll see that they are now in Supply Runner over here. Click the count for collection, and you can see it populate through here. There they are, Drone Team 2. Any questions for activating a planned collection through Salamander Live? If you need to activate an unplanned collection, same process. Okay, same process. This time we're going to add, actually we're going to go to staging over here. Right click, click edit. And this time, all you're going to do is you're going to click on Add Collection. So this is you just adding an unplanned collection. You can see that planned resources being red. Both of these have been activated. So I'm going to click Add Collection. This is pulling from your collections database from over here. Okay. So anybody that's in red, so these ones, they're already in the event. You can't select them. You have to use the move function to move them in, from assignment to assignment. So in this case, let's say I'm going to activate Engine 2. I click Engine 2, I click Next. It's going to verify my resources. There's my resources. Again, any resources already in red is going to be listed here. So hopefully you've updated your collections that you're not double dipping, because your people, your resources can't be in 2 assignments at one time. So in this case, these are all new people. I'm verifying that yes, they are all there. I'm going to click add, and it's going to add that assignment or add that collection and activate it and check them into the staging assignment. If not, you can just uncheck them and they won't check them in. And there it is. There's Engine 2 checked in. Any questions with that process? Any questions? No questions? All right, since we have some time, I will walk through Rapid Tag. Okay. So Rapid Tag in this case, I'm going to open up Rapid Tag real quick here. I'm using Rapid Tag version 5. Just log in real quick here. Here's Rapid Tag. I'm going to start an event. Okay. So again, a couple things, just like normal when we go through Rapid Tags, to verify that your options are correct. So file options before you start the event. Double check your scanners plugged in and enabled. Check that your printing is set up and your assignment is where you want it to go. So I'm adding everybody in here to checked in. If I want it to be staging, I can create staging, okay, if I wanted to. So I'm going to check everybody into staging. Click Save. Okay. MCM closed pod. Okay. Name your event and then click start. So in this case with Rapid Tag, again, if we wanted this to be linked up to the same event, so you'll see my production status is unknown. I just click sync to make sure that this is sent up to Salamander Live. Reason why I'm manually selecting this is my sync interval is set up to 5 minutes. So you see in here, my sync interval is 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes is when the sync. If I want this to go up right away so that somebody an administrator in the back end can join my two events, you can do that. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to merge my events together in Salamander Live. So I'm going to go to my events. I should see 2 MCM closed pod events. You'll see here's my main one that was created through the plan through Salamander Live, and here's my second one with Rapid Tag. So all I'm doing is I'm selecting the one that I want to be the parent and I'm doing an internal join. So I'm joining the Rapid Tag one to my Salamander Live one. Once I click those check boxes, I can click the join button, merge those two together. Once I merge in Rapid Tag, I'm going to see a bunch of data populate through. Now, one thing about Rapid Tag, it does not know who is planned. Okay, so planned resources, it's not supported through Rapid Tag. Again, the only application supported through is the Track app and Salamander Live. So anybody that's being scanned in and created through Rapid Tag here should be unplanned collections. Unplanned collections. So how do we add a collection in this case? Very simple. All you do is you go to your collection tab, click collections. You'll see all the collections that's already checked in so far. All you're gonna do is click add, and then you're gonna create a collection. Okay, so in this case, I'm gonna just do my Salamander team. Say Salamander's there, support your event. Okay, they're from the organization Sal Live. Again, you can drop your drop down in this and select the correct organization. So in this case, I'm gonna type in Salamander Technologies. And then Michigan, we're good. Okay, so there it is. So that's how you create a new organization. Your name of your collection. Again, as I start typing the ID, you'll see that the name is exactly the same. If you want the ID to be different, type in something else if you want to. So Sal team if I want to. And then down here, I can type in Salamander team. So that's how you can get the ID to be different than the name. Type in the ID first and then delete the name and then type whatever you want. You can go in and select the same thing like your NIMS type if you want to. You can put a destination in there if you wanted to. Okay. You can select the kind if you want to from the drop down. Okay. And then your assignment, you'll see that staging is the default because that's what I set up as a default in this case. Or you have the option to select all these different other assignments. So this is pulling from the Track app since we've merged the event together. So I'm going to keep that as staging. You have the option of putting an expiration date for that collection barcode. So for the Sal team, their role in here and their location if you wanted to, just same as if you would do this for people. Click next. In this case, you have your option. You have your option of manually or scanning in. So in this case, if you have driver's licenses, you can scan them in. I'm not going to scan in driver's licenses because it's going to pull my information. And again, this goes publicly live on YouTube. I don't want my information out there. But you do have the option for manual adding if you wanted to. So in this case, I'm going to manual add. I'm just going to add in my name. And you can keep this as simple as possible, right? Keep this as simple as possible. You can put title in there if you want to. You can put all that stuff in there. Just simply click next and it adds that individual in there. Adds that individual there. Add another person if you want to. Click next. Again, you want to make sure that you select the correct organization for them. Again, probably didn't select the correct one for myself. If you make a mistake and you added that person already, you can see in here, in a collection, since you haven't saved it yet, you can still change it. Once you save and finish it, you can't go back and change the data anymore. Okay, so that's a great thing about collections. You can change it right here, but once you click finish, you can't go back and change that organization. Okay, so in this case, I got my 2 individuals. You can mark who is the leader. Go up here, mark the leader. If you got equipment in there, you can add equipment as well too. You can scan or manually add. Once you're finished, simply click finish in this case. It's going to create the collection. There it is. You'll see within the track app, it's going to populate, and then you can print off wristbands or barcodes. In this case, I chose a 2x3, so it's printing off a hard card for the entire team. Okay. Oops, I meant to press save. So simply all you're doing is clicking save. Now you got a barcode. You hand that barcode, that ID to the leader, and that leader can use that barcode to get checked out again. So it works exactly the same as on the people side. If you scan that barcode a secondary time, is going to, you can scan that collection to the off-scene assignment. Okay. So it's same as what you would do for people. Any questions on the creation of collections through RapidTag?
I just had a real quick one. On that rapid tag, when you join the events together, does the rapid tag event that you created, does it basically go away? Is it removed, or is it still searchable and findable? Or is it, because it got merged and that was not the primary, it's lost?
It's merged. So basically all the data goes into that main one. So the name itself stays in the RapidTag system. Again, nothing is saved locally on RapidTag. So those that have worked with RapidTag before, you know that the data is not saved locally on this computer. It's stored there temporarily. So that's why syncing, making sure you work RapidTag with internet connection is very important, because the moment you click end, if you haven't synced this data up to Salamander Live, it removes and deletes all that data from your computer. So you lose that data. So when you merge them, all it does is it's placing all that data into that event that you have within Salamander Live. So this
Yeah, the
event
secondary
right here.
event, right? It places it onto the secondary event, structured against the secondary event, but the actual name of the rapid tag event you created has been dismissed. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. It just merges in here, and then that information, that name event is lost. It's basically placed underneath this. So if you go into this event, you'll see this. You'll see the, if I go in here for a summary, you'll see that it's merged. You'll see in here. So the name of the event, it's been merged. So you see R stands for rapid tag. So it just tells you it's merged in here. So the event names, you see it stays exactly the same, but it's the name itself is merged in here. This is the parent in this case, because you'll see it here, parent at the top. So this is the name. And then all that data has been joined and merged in with this main parent event. Even if you do that through the track app, it's going to merge all the data, and that naming convention is lost, but the data is not lost.
And the source is maintained. Got it.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hey, Leah, this isn't collection specific per se, but if you accidentally clicked, finish and then realized someone was in the wrong organization, would the best course of action be to remove them and then re-add? Or is there somehow a way to edit that in the Salamander Live backend by chance?
The only way to remedy that is through the reports, because it's going to show them through that wrong event. Yes, you can't delete a person. You can't edit their organization.
About the reports. Okay.
Correct. So yes, the best way is if they realize that right away, I would move that person off scene and then rescan their ID, their driver's license again, which would recreate a brand new record, and then place them into the correct organization.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? That was a great question. No other questions? All right, everybody. Well, that does conclude my training here on checking in collections. Right. And Jade, I just saw your question on here. You're curious about Rapid Tag. Yes, so we did do this. So hopefully I answered all your questions on here. If not, please feel free to reach out to me afterwards. But thank you everybody for your time today. I really appreciate it. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will either place this one or the secondary video into our YouTube channel. If you want this video, please let me know. I can send this directly to you. I'll post it within our YouTube channel, but normally I select the best one out of the two, and that's the one I use for our YouTube channel. All right, everybody, thank you all so much. Take care. Have a great day.